Should they tax the rich? You'll hear both sides of the aisle on this one. Tax the rich, tax the rich. They deserve to pay more in taxes. They've got all this wealth. They're being greedy. Have them pay taxes. And then you have the other side of the aisle of those people have worked hard for their money. They deserve that money. They've earned it. We probably shouldn't tax them. Also, it may lead to, having more economic success if they're able to use that money wisely. But which one do we believe? Which is the right answer for the U.S. to make sure that we're doing the best thing for this country? Today, I'm going to give you my own opinion, and I'm going to try to make sure I understand both sides of the aisle here and give you what I believe is the case for if we should tax the rich or not. So I would say I agree first and foremost that some rich can be very greedy, and I agree that they can abuse the wealth that they've given. And those types of people, they need to pay more taxes, or they just need to be more generous. They need to give more to charities, whatever it may be, but they need to leave a bigger impact and not cause, negativity or bad things upon our country. But I also see the other side of it, of the good people who have a lot of wealth. So I think what this comes down to is who is the one who is holding that money? What is the character of the people, of the wealthy who are accumulating this money? Because I've actually seen really wealthy people who have done the right thing with money. If you look, a lot of people who are making a lot of money are very, very generous, and that can spur a lot of movements with charities and making an impact in this world that goes far beyond what money can do. So in that case, we almost have to applaud the rich. And if we increase taxes on them, that means the government gets more money and the charities would get less in that scenario. And so is that really what we want? And I'm not here to say the government's bad people, but I do have a question for you. Do you feel like the government is being the best steward of our tax-paying dollars right now? And you can have your opinion for whatever it's worth, but we are $32 trillion in debt, and we've been in the red no matter who's in office for the last however many years. And so I don't think we're being the best steward of this tax-paying dollars. Don't get me wrong. I love paying my taxes. I love paying my fair share. But I don't want to tip Uncle Sam because I don't trust that they're going to spend it on things that I value and I think are going to move the needle for our country over time. Some of the stuff is great, but it's everything. And so what I'd rather see done personally is I'd rather us U.S. citizens, let's have more control. Let's decrease taxes for all of us so that we can take our money and spur the economy and boost everything up. And so that's a consideration that I have personally that I think would make a lot of sense. And so when I look at wealthy that are doing that, again, not everyone does that, but for the ones that do, man, we're missing out on some good opportunities where we, the people, can have more control. And then if you also look at business owners, business owners are typically among some of the wealthiest people out there. Well, they employ typically a lot of people. They can employ hundreds of people, thousands of people. And do you think that helps the U.S.? Of course it does, because people now have more income, there's more money movement, and we're able to go spend it with other businesses, and everyone's happy, and the U.S. is doing well. And so those are some considerations that we may be leaving off the table if we just say go tax the rich, and now we're giving our government more control to make those decisions. Right or wrong, it's up to you, but that's just the facts that I'm here to share. And the other consideration to think of too is the rich are already paying a lot of taxes. And, you could argue they could pay more, but if you look at the amount of taxes someone who is an average income earner or a lower income earner, for example, if you're a lower income earner, you may pay $0 in taxes at all. If your income is under the standard deduction, $27,000, $700 if you're married for 2023, and about half of that if you're single, you don't pay any taxes at all. That's pretty cool. I mean, rightfully so. They don't have the money, so we want to be a little nicer to them. But if you're an average income earner, you may be in the 12%, 22%, or 24% tax bracket, whereas the wealthy, the rich, they're probably in the 37% tax bracket, plus they're paying a lot more taxes on top of that when it comes to extra Medicare premiums, extra Social Security taxes, net investment income on any capital gains. They're paying a higher capital gains rate. So they are paying more taxes than everyone else. And so, if you're upset about it now, well, they're paying a lot of money in taxes. They're probably paying half of their earnings to taxes through state, federal, and all the other things I mentioned. And so I would consider that, hey, they're working part-time for the government at this point. I mean, that's a lot of money. Are we really expecting to ask for even more from the wealthy on any extra income they're earning is the idea here. And you got to consider, too, like more risk, more reward, right? So for the people who are wealthy, like you almost have to applaud them and say, you've probably taken some risks to start that business, right? You've probably taken a lot of risks to build that thing up. It's probably been a time sacrifice. It's been a money sacrifice. It could not work, and you could have put yourself in a worse situation. And so should we not necessarily be penalizing the people who are working really hard and are making those right types of financial decisions is another thought as well. So at the end of the day, those are my thoughts on the situation. I'd love to hear your feedback. If you'd love to enter in the comments if you agree with some of my thoughts or disagree, or maybe share your bold predictions either way of the aisle that you stand on. But hopefully this can spur a conversation to just learn more, and hopefully we can pick each other's brains here and see how we can maybe run for president together and try to find ways that we can solve this issue here and make sure that we're not running the red and able to use taxpaying dollars for the best use.